Hi, today is the workshop on EDA with Python. This is a beginner friendly workshop where you can learn about exploratory data analysis. What is it, its tools, and its implementation. My name is Ramya. Today I'm going to take this presentation and walk you through the presentation and the coding implementation. Thank you for joining. Let's begin the workshop. So, what are the agenda? We are going to talk about the concepts of exploratory data analysis, tools, and coding, and it is followed by quiz and question and answering session. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And these are the libraries and installation needs to be done for the following libraries to perform the exploratory data analysis. Here today, I'm going to use Pandas, NumPy, CBar, and Matplotlib for data visualization, and Plotly for interactive data visualization, Dash, and Jupyter Notebook. And this is the command to install these libraries. And Jupyter Notebook is the web-based IDE that can be used, or you can install it in your local machine, and you can use that browser-based IDE to perform today's analysis. And it is one of the tool used in data science to perform coding and computations. On Mac, you can say pip install pandas, numpy, cbar, matplotlib, plotly, and dash together. And this is the symbol for Windows, and this is the symbol for Mac. And scenario, imagine the Google Play Store wants to analyze their historical data to get to know some of their business insights to help them apply business decisions. Now let's move on to hands-on with Jupyter Notebook by explaining its concepts and coding implementation. This is the data analysis on mobile apps Play Store notebook. Here you can go through the data analysis. What is it and why is this? And this is the chosen data set from Kaggle, that is open source. And what are the data fields available from this data set? That is names of the mobile apps from Google Play Store, categories, Android version, and so on. And what's been used for this analysis? I have used Python 3 and libraries such as Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, CBar, and Plotly for the data visualization. Agenda. I'm going to talk about EDA concepts, tools, implementations, and dataset itself, required libraries. Then data preparation or pre-processing, cleaning needs to be done. Next, data visualization using CBar and Plotly libraries, inferences and summaries, add-ons, and followed by quiz. Now, concept. What is EDA? EDA stands for exploratory data analysis. That means to understand the data. What is this data giving information about by analyzing the data? And we have types of EDA. That is 4 types we have basically: descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive. In a high level, descriptive means what has happened already based on the historical data. And diagnostic, that helps to answer like why certain events happened. And predictive analysis. And next it is followed by prescriptive. Based on the requirement and scenarios, we can use either types of the EDA, and sometimes each of these types needs to be implemented. It is purely based on the context for which you are doing exploratory data analysis. It can be done for multiple scenarios like general purpose or business purpose, or it can be done for building machine learning and deep learning models. Now let's talk about the data set. This is the source for the data set that can be downloaded from this URL. Next, what tools I'm going to use today? In general, for exploratory data analysis, there are quite a few programming languages and GUI tools are available. Programming languages such as R and Python, and SQL such as MySQL can be used, and Excel can be used for data analysis, and other GUI tools like Tableau, Microsoft Power BI, Alteryx can be used. Today we are going to use Python. And the libraries is one of the main libraries, Open Datasets. This library allows us to download datasets from Kaggle. This is how we install Open Datasets. Before I can run it, let me do this. Next, I have already installed it. And this is the future version of deprecation notes that you can ignore it for now. And this is the word cloud library. It is required. I will show you as we move on why we need a word cloud. Next, after installing the library, I'm going to import it. And these are the pandas, NumPy libraries I need it for the analysis. This is as alias for this respective library. I have already installed and imported, so I will move on to the next step. If you are wanting to know the version of pandas you are going to use, you can use this syntax. The downloaded dataset gets stored in this folder. So you can see what are all available in this folder. The dataset itself is available in CSV. This is the file we are going to use. Now, by analyzing this dataset, what questions we can answer? How many mobile apps are hosted through Google Play Store? Which are the most used or downloaded apps? How many are free and paid apps? What are the categories of mobile apps? Which is the most used Android version? Which are the apps that are installed more? Which are the paid apps and their prices? Now, once we have all the libraries, they have installed and imported, and all the development environment has been set, and dataset has been downloaded and kept ready like what in the previous steps I showed. Next step would be data preparation and cleaning. This is the one of the good data set, especially when you are a beginner to exploratory data analysis. It is a very good data set as it comes with mixture of data types that would help you to know, okay, based on the questions you need to answer, which column fields you need to convert to which specific data type based on its values. So this is how we read the data set. This is CSV, so you can use, I have aliased pandas as PD, so pd.read_CSV and pass the path of the data set. And I want to know how many rows and how many columns are there in the data set. You would see here 10,841 rows and 13 columns. Next, I would display how the data frame looks. Next, if you want to display only the 5 rows, you would use head method. And you can pass in any number here. If you want to choose, okay, you want to display 10 rows, you would say 10. It will display you the 10 rows. And next, if you want to display the last 5 rows, you would use tail method. Next, we need to basically know the data types of each field. You can do that by using dtypes attribute. And you can use another method called describe method that will help you to know summary statistics of numerical columns by default. If you want to know for categorical columns, including both numerical and categorical columns, you would pass the argument include equals all. And this is another info method wherein you can get overall info about the column names again and its data types and how many are null and how many are non-null and how many entries, that is number of rows, and its memory usage. And this is, I have renamed each column to keep it consistent. Next, if you want to know which are the columns, you can use the attribute columns. Next, if you want to know the name of a specific column, you can pass in its index. Say, for example, I want to know what is the name of the first column. I would say column and pass in the index of the column, app. Here it got app because I need to run this cell in order for it to do that. Now, if you see, it is app. I have renamed app to app with lowercase. And now the column joiners can be deleted since it gives same info as category. And after updating or deleting the data frame by deleting joiners, I have saved data frame to Play Store updated df. Next. Now, as you have seen, the date field is object. It is supposed to be date time type. Based on the questions you need to answer, you can always convert the date time field, if it is object or string, into date time type. Next, data visualization is another technique that will help us to visualize information in the form of graphs. What questions we can answer? How many apps are there in each category? This syntax helps us to know each category has how many apps. For example, family category has got 1,972 apps. Game category has got 1,144 apps, and so on. Next, I'm going to answer which is the question about which are all the mobile categories in this data set. By running this statement, you can get the list of categories in an array, that is list in the Python. And if you want to know number of categories, if you do this, you'll get, okay, there are 34 categories in this data set for mobile apps. And if you want to delete a specific row, example, I'm going to delete this row because I'm not getting any required data from this for the question I need to answer. So I'm going to perform this and say, and then after deleting this row, I'm saving the data frame in Play Store _processed_df data frame. So next, here I'm going to replace, do some sort of cleaning for number of installs field by removing, if you notice here, by removing the comma and plus, because it has to be a numerical column to perform certain operations. So when I do this, now we can notice, okay, that's been, comma has been removed and plus has been removed. This is to ensure, okay, it has been executed. Next, because it is object type, I want to convert that into integer type. Next, you can confirm by running this statement. Now, number of installs is int 64. Next, I'm going to do the group by for category and app by counting on number of installs. I want to know each app has been installed how many number of times. you have to do the reset index, because when you do group by, and whichever columns you pass in, those columns will be treated as index. Here I want them to be a part of field, so I have reset the index. Next, what question I'm going to answer: which are the top most installed apps and their category? So for art and design category, this is the topmost app, and it's been installed these many number of times. Next, if you want to know the individually each app for each category, I have used Plotly library to bring in the interactive way. Here, maps and navigations, for example, it has got Waze, GPS maps, and it's been installed 100 million times. And if you go another app in this, it is DB Navigator. It's been installed 10 million times. Sorry, 10 million times. And you go to news and magazines. For Google News app, it's been installed 1 billion times. For video players, YouTube has been installed, YouTube app, that's been installed 1 billion times, and so on. Next question: which are the most used Android versions? So when I do value counts on this field, I would get, okay, this specific version of the Android has been used these many times. So the most used Android version is 4.1 plus. That is, if you arrange it in descending order, for descending order, you would say ascending equals false. As an argument, you would pass into the value counts method. Next. Say suppose it is a numerical column, but its data has been taken as object, that is string in pandas, because of values like plus and comma. If you want this column to be in float, you would use to_numeric. Here I want it to be type integer 64, so I have used as type method, as I have done above. That is this one, as type method. Yeah. And now, and I want to filter the rows, which is for the field price, which is not equal to 0. That means I want to know the app which are not free, basically. Which are the apps that are not free, and arranging them in descending order to get most priced app at the top. And I would get these are the apps which are not free and their respective prices and their respective categories. So here we can say 801 apps are paid. And I want to arrange it in a descending order. So the top price is $9.99. This is the most priced apps, which are 800. Here we would say 801. It could be because if there is NAN or rows like that, when you arrange it in descending order, it would consider, okay, it would sort the values using this method and using type equals paid. This is query method is one of the powerful method if you want to filter any specific rows, that would help you to filter the rows with specific values you want. And next, another graph is histogram that would help you to group the related values into one. These are the chart used to assess the possible outcomes such as probability distribution. And these are the resources you can read through these links. And when you execute this, it would give us, okay, the ratings between 2.6 and 5, these many are the apps. It would basically group the related values into one bin. Next, bar graph. This is another graph that would help us to visualize the information in graphical format. Next, which are the most installed top 10 apps and their categories. When you perform this, it will provide us data in descending order, which are the most installed top 10 apps. Here I have filtered it out for only 10 rows. If you want 20 rows, you would slice it using colon 20. Basically, it says all the fields and 10 rows. Next, this is the bar graph. In the communication, the most installed communication category is the most installed. And next, social and game. It would help you to visually know, okay, in a glance, it would help you to visually view the information. Next, pie chart. You can read through what is pie chart and its use case when it can be used. It is basically a statistical graph that will be displayed in circular format and divided each sector into representing numerical proportions. Here I want to know how many apps are free and how many apps are paid. That I want to visualize using pie chart. So here 92.61% are free apps and 7.38% are paid apps. And another chart is count plant. Sorry, another chart is count plot. This is basically, it will help you to count. These are the categories and these are the counts. Okay, in family category, there are nearly 2,000 apps. In the tools, there are nearly 750 plus apps. They help you to visualize information graphically. Next, word cloud. This is the scenario you can use, okay, which are the most frequent terms used in the data set. Generating word cloud is one of the technique of data visualization used to generate text data, and size of each word represents their frequency or importance. And this is the source. You can read through what is a word cloud. And here basically I used this data frame to get the unique values of category field and store that in names so that I can iterate through and generate the word cloud. But here I have used mobile cats from this execution for the category. So yeah, here when I executed to know which are all the category present in the data set and how many, so that same variable I can use here. And when you loop through the list, you can generate the word cloud. Yeah. So larger the size of the text, higher its frequency. That means more it is appearing in the data set. And also I want to know which are the apps with highest average rating. Okay, this is the app has got average 19, and this is the app belongs to this specific category, has got these much rating. And next, this is little bit advanced of beginner exploratory data analysis, and that is at the same time it is equally important aspect of data analysis is generating and providing the report for the clients and the business team to understand, okay, what outcomes and insights are made from this analyzed data set. For this, we need to have another library called Pandas Profiling. I have already installed it. And using Jupyter Notebook, this is how we install it. Because I have already installed it, that gives me a requirement already satisfied. Next, once you install it, you would import it. Next, this is what I have imported. This is the class I have imported from this library, in which I have passed in the data frame and the title and explorative true S. Now, this is generating the report for me. Yeah. Here it is. So now I also want to generate the HTML file of this report. I can use it, this file name, to generate HTML file using the to_file method. Okay, this has been generated for me. Now, because it is in the root folder I'm saving, here I would find HTML. A second ago, it's been generated. Here it is. You will get the overview of the data set, the number of variables, that is fields, columns, and number of observations, rows, missing cells. These kind of metadata you would find from the report, and how many are numerical fields and how many are numeric fields. And each variable, nothing but column or field. And it also gives any warnings. Okay, each field has high cardinality or these many distinct values. For reviews, for each field, it provides this information. And also it gives a overview of interactions by comparing the columns and correlations. These are the different types of correlations available. And it also shows for each column how many are missing values. Say there are actually 10,841 rows. That means in the app field, there are no missing values. In category, there are no missing values. In rating, yes, there are missing values. This is at a overview. You would get, okay, this is one of the good tool to understand in a high level, to get the gist of analyzed data set. This comes very handy. And you can see it gives in different formats. Next, it also says the first row, sample rows, how the data set looks. And last rows. And if there are any duplicate rows also, it will display. And yeah. Next. Here is the, yeah. So next, from after this analysis, what next? We can answer further set of questions such as how much gross revenue was received for each app. It can be computed for weekly or monthly wise based on the requirements. And also how many downloads were made for the apps or each category based on weekly or monthly wise, which again depends on next set of requirements. Next, further extension it can be done is for this Jupyter Notebook for exploratory data analysis, interactive web app can be done using Dash library. That would be next level of exploratory data analysis, comes in advanced level of EDA. For time-based insights, especially the field like last updated, it can be converted to date time data type based on the requirement. Here, I did not do it because I haven't used last updated field to answer any of the questions. especially when you do like date-wise computations, then yes, certainly you need to convert last updated field into the date time type. That also comes under, it's a part of data pre-processing. Now, from this analysis, what inferences or summaries we got? By analyzing the above processed dataset, we gather the information on understanding the fields and the data type, which is very essential to understand, which are the categories and respective apps with respect to their number of installs, and how many apps were free and paid, which is the most used Android version, each app and their number of installs using Plotly interactive graph, which are the highest rated apps and their respective categories, and most frequently used categories, and which are the paid apps through that we also did it through the pie chart and their categories and how much each app was priced. Now, summary. The above questions from this analysis would help in knowing types and categories of mobile apps available in Google Play Store dataset for the various business analysis and help make its decision and understand the mobile apps market of Android OS, including the scope of the mobile apps development and which are most types used by end users. It is also one of the business requirement. EDA can be done for multiple scenarios, as I mentioned before. Now, for you to read further and take it next from here, you can read through this article in which I have detailed about data analysis with Python and also exploratory data analysis with database using MySQL. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the workshop. If you have any questions, feel free to ask or type in the chat. And we will be doing the quiz shortly. I will post the link in the chats. Thank you.